Those alone are your biggest ones that wouldn't make sense if the quote-unquote deep state are in panic currently. That don't make sense. Why would the deep state dig a gigantic, massive, crazy crater to try to go, help us out? We dug our own hole. Help us. He's a dictator and a Nazi and a king. That is how dumb and a marblehead you would have to be to believe that the deep state is in panic right now, but yet they dug their own crater. It wasn't a hole, it's a crater. And then they're turning around yelling, he did this. It's his fault. He's a dictator. He's a Nazi. He's a king. That's how dumb you have to be to believe that. And you don't need that in your life is what I'm saying. You don't need to be dumb because you ain't got to be dumb because there's already a blueprint strategy that outlines the whole thing. Every bit of what people's watching, like the July 16th speech, are for the slow marbleheads who don't know anything about podcasts like this. Operators like me. It's for those people. It's for your friends and family in the normie land who probably watched wet paint dry today. I'd rather watch wet paint dry than watch soccer. You can try to convince me otherwise, but you won't be able to convince me. All right. So you got people in normie land who just absolutely refuse to believe special operations, laws, and orders of what President Donald John Trump is absolutely invoked, using, in the face of. The 45-47, the dash matters. So, why would the deep state do that? So, the way patriots and Republicans and conservatives out there think and talk, they'd only arrest the people that they know about. See, and that's the problem we have. This is why you got to empower yourself, read, study, comprehend, apply what President Trump's using and what the military, what we're using, but especially when we invoke a military government. Every one of President Trump's nominations and endorsements, but especially endorsements, it follows the same playbook as President Dwight David Eisenhower did with his contingency plan, following a catastrophic event. Well, the catastrophic event was a biological chemical weapon used in 2020. All right. When you look at all the 2020, the bioweapon of COVID, and then you look and you take all these orders and all these laws and the invoking of the continuity government and the invocation of the reconstitution, when you look at every aspect of it, and then you apply that was a bioweapon, which would be, it was disastrous. People were dying and they're still dying from it. That's disastrous. That would count as catastrophic and disastrous verbiage. If you go look at President Dwight David Eisenhower, who, by the way, veterans, never saw combat, but he was a 5-star general, master strategist. He was a real winner because he didn't start foreign wars for quote-unquote diplomacy, all right, and quote-unquote defense, right? So when all that, President Trump's had to be delicate with this because you have so many military-industrial complex veterans out there who want to compare their quote-unquote DD-214s and all this other stuff and put down other veterans because they didn't do what you did. All right, has nothing to do with that. Not a thing. This is draining the deep state. This is ridding the deep state and all their tactics that they did and pulled over the people. President Eisenhower had a thing called the contingency plan, but if you go to Google, type in the atomic midwife, you can read all about it, where he said, businessmen, ladies, you're now included this day and age because President Trump is doing businessmen and women. But back then, the ladies weren't in that field as much, so don't take that personal. Obviously, this ain't a DEI bullcrap speech anyway, which is all false. All right, at that time period, it was businessmen and military men that President Eisenhower said had experience and they could lead and not be compromised as long as certain people selected them. President Trump, every one of his endorsements, that's why you people are fools. You're fools when you say you're going to vote for someone else. When you claim to be a President Trump supporter, but you turn around and say you're going to vote for someone else that's the polar opposite of what he endorsed. Every one of his endorsements is following a strategic blueprint plan. And it's the same plan that President Dwight David Eisenhower, 5-star general, master strategist, put into place for after catastrophic events. Businessmen and women, highly successful and or, very key, and or special operations or Navy SEALs and a few regular veterans. But the regular veterans are colonels, former colonels, things of that nature. Highly successful based off of merit. And what is President Trump talking about? We're getting back to a merit-based society where when someone's smarter than you, you'll be able to recognize it. Doesn't mean they're better than you. It doesn't mean you're inferior to them. It means that, hey, this person can walk the walk and talk the talk. Someone like me, who I can remember so much stuff, right? And it's all laws, it's all orders, but it all leads to integrity, tenacity, honesty, loyalty, and all the things put together that makes reciprocality also great. When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's reciprocality. And it works great for every one of us. So you have to use discernment. If you're mad, angry, frustrated, bitter, tired, worn out, exhausted, whatever it is in your life because you're confused or you just don't know who to listen to, you don't know who to believe, and all this other stuff, that's your problem. You have too much in your life. You want to hear a quick answer from someone who may sound better, deliver better, or isn't as passionate as I am. I'm loud sometimes and passionate because I'm trying to get over to you that the blueprint's already out there. July 16th speech to the real patriots, been knowing this. We've been knowing this. And it's not about, we've been knowing it in a degrading or condescending form. It's going, hey, you can know this too. You don't need to look shocked. You don't need to look like, oh my gosh, what have I been? Yeah, what have you been doing is a understatement because you could have already known this. You could have already been applying yourselves. And it matters. I hear people say, why does it matter? It matters because highways. Now, income tax is bullcrap. We all know it. They want to tax our income and turn around and pay the tax out of our income of other taxes. But there are some taxes that we need. We all share highways together. We share certain things in cities and towns and counties and states that are credible, that we can come together on and be like, yes, we need that. No, we don't need that. Yes, we need that. That's when it matters, is when you put things back in our lives that matter at our county level, our state level, and our federal level. When we get back to those things of what matters, what belongs in government, what doesn't belong in government, when we get back to that, then it'll be so condensed down and it'll be so easy, like President Trump said in 2020, the cure cannot be bigger than the problem. Well, when you get back and you can identify the problems, the cures won't be difficult because you will be empowered. You'll be sharpened on your skills, your application, your knowledge of what matters, which are the laws and the orders of what matter to us in our states, because Alabama law and Texas law are going to be different. Minnesota law, Florida law, going to be different. All right. But you'll know what you need where you're living. And then when it comes to federal laws, then that's where we all come together from. What do we need federally? We don't need much. But see, that's what had taken place. The hijacking of the federal government. And they made it so big that people don't know what to believe. And that's why they had to have a special operation. We had to do this. You had to. Someone had to draw a line in the sand and say, well, we got to try. There was going to be a little pandemonium, sure, initially. There was going to be some confusion initially, yes. But right now where we are, there shouldn't be any confusion whatsoever. You have zero excuses to be confused. You need to know who your commander is. You need to know who people working with him are. And then also the laws and the orders of what President Trump's working with. And when you know those simple things, even though there's a lot of them, but when you know that alone, then you'll hear someone like me and you'll know, hey, because everyone that has made these books #1 bestsellers and also the platforms keep growing, everyone who knows my anniversary, 4-year anniversary is coming up in just a few weeks. 4 years of going viral. Now, my family and friends already knew about it. They already knew about me. They already knew about the documents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. and timestamps don't lie. But everyone who's been following since August 24, 2022, it's been consistent, time-stamped, and it's always ahead of time because special operations are always ahead. But it's not ahead in the standpoint of, oh, I'm getting lucky. It's because it's all in laws and orders, and because the general public are slow, it's rolling out slow. So it makes you look even more genius when it's already in laws and orders. But if you knew the laws and orders yourself, you'd be the genius too, because you'd be following along. And then someone like me would confirm it for you. Like if you're over there reading, I have people message all the time or email all the time, and they'll say, hey, am I accurate on this thinking here? Well, I've been reading this and this and this and that. Do you think this is going to happen? I'm like, bingo, you got it. You're locked in, baby. And what does the Department of War keep telling you to do? Lock in. Stay focused. We're in control. Patriots are in control. Well, you can't be over there gloating if you don't know exactly what they're talking about. And you should want to know exactly what they're talking about to be that true patriot. It's all right to vote for President Trump and not know right now. Okay. Yeah, you voted for him. You support him. But shouldn't you want to know exactly what President Trump is the face of and what the military, what we've all been doing, and all the cool, unique positions that have been called back to duty, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I think you should, because that's what makes him great. That's what makes this nation great. That's what makes our military great. And that's what makes the American spirit great. So you have the full blueprint. That's the full breakdown. And when you go back, even though I did it backwards, and then I put the other portion on the back side of that, but when you go apply all those together, you'll see that nothing is new. All these people out there talking about their burn bags and all this, they heard President Trump say, oh, we just discovered. No, we didn't just discover that. That's for the people in the painful section they are so far behind. They're laggards. I mean, they're turtle pace slow. It's for them. So you just gotta keep empowering yourself. If it's tough for you, keep reading. Don't get frustrated though. There's a difference in exhausted and frustrated. At the point you get exhausted and your mind just can't put it down. Don't get frustrated at it. But you gotta read, you gotta study, you gotta comprehend. And the reading is what we gotta bring back in this nation. We have to bring back reading, we have to bring back studying, and we have to bring back comprehension, but the passion around it. All right? And so I highly encourage everybody. So the Midnight Rider arrives again. It's on Amazon. You can get it on rattletrap1776.com through me if you want them signed. All right? RATTLETRAP1776.com. If you want them signed, I sign them. I sign all of them. And this is part one, obviously. And I have other books, but I don't have them sitting here. But you'll see those on the site. And then obviously I didn't write this one, but I highly encourage you to read this. Highly encourage you. This is a great book. There's also another book that you can access on PDF, or if you want to purchase it, Military Law and Precedents, which is also a great read. Those two books alone can set you where you need to be with military. Those two books alone. Now, again, I didn't write them. I don't make money on these. But this is what we use. This is what JAG uses. Military intelligence, military law, heavily uses this. All right. And you'll learn so much about your president and what he can and can't do. All right. Which there ain't much he can't do. But you'll learn what is supported by the Constitution in here that debunks and shows how all these libtards out there, when they use the Constitution as their crutch, yeah, they look dumber than a GPS on a chainsaw. All right, so we're going to sign off here, and I'll see you guys soon. And we'll be going live again a lot more. I had some other stuff pop up, but I'll be going live a lot more than what I have, just because we'll do different things. But I'm about to roll out of here, and I'll see you guys soon.